As Lewis Hamilton gears up for his bold move to Ferrari in 2025, F1 legend David Coulthard has delivered a warning that has shocked the F1 world. Highlighting Hamilton's struggles against George Russell, unqualified 19 times in 24 races, Coulthard questions whether the 40-year-old icon can still compete at the top. His blunt words, "Mother Nature's clock is ticking." Is Hamilton's pursuit of an 8th title a comeback story, or the final chapter of his legendary career? The 2024 season proved to be a challenging one for the British driver. Despite his illustrious career, Hamilton found himself consistently outpaced by his younger teammate George Russell. The qualifying statistics tell a compelling story. Russell unqualified Hamilton 19 times out of 24 races. In the world of Formula One, where grid position often dictates race strategy and outcome, this disparity is significant. The impact of these qualifying struggles was evident in Hamilton's race results. Starting further back on the grid frequently compromised his chances of podium finishes, leading to a season that fell short of his usual high standards. This performance dip reached a poignant moment at the 2024 Qatar Grand Prix, where Hamilton made a shocking admission. In a comment that reverberated through the paddock and left fans questioning the future of one of the sport's greatest ever drivers, he said, "I'm definitely not fast anymore." Enter David Coulthard, a veteran of 246 Grand Prix starts and a respected voice in the F1 community. Coulthard's analysis of Hamilton's move to Ferrari is rooted in the cold, hard reality of data-driven performance metrics that dominate modern Formula One. This isn't a personality contest, it's not an opinion contest, it's a data-driven contest, Coulthard asserts. This statement cuts to the core of contemporary F1, where every aspect of a driver's performance is scrutinized through sophisticated telemetry and analytics. Coulthard's critique centers on Hamilton's recent qualifying record against Russell. He points out, to be outqualified consistently by George Russell, the greats don't have bad cars. This observation carries significant weight in the F1 community, where qualifying performance is often considered the purest measure of a driver's raw speed. The implication is clear. Hamilton's struggles can't be attributed solely to car performance. There may be a decline in his abilities. The issue of age is another crucial factor in Coulthard's analysis. At 40 years old, Hamilton will be the oldest driver on the 2025 grid. In a sport where reflexes, physical endurance, and adaptability are paramount, age becomes a critical consideration. Coulthard doesn't mince words. There is a thing called Mother Nature, and the clock is ticking. This statement raises questions about Hamilton's ability to compete at the highest level against a new generation of drivers in their prime. Coulthard also introduces the concept of being out of sorts with the current formula. Formula One has undergone significant technical changes in recent years, with cars behaving differently from those Hamilton dominated in during the hybrid era. Coulthard suggests that Hamilton has struggled to adapt to these new characteristics, a challenge that could potentially follow him to Ferrari. This adaptation period becomes even more critical when considering the limited testing time available in modern F1. However, Coulthard's analysis isn't entirely pessimistic. He acknowledges the potential for Hamilton's move to Ferrari to reinvigorate his career. Drawing an intriguing analogy, Coulthard muses, maybe the switch to Ferrari for Hamilton, putting on that red suit, works the same as Superman putting on his suit. This comparison hints at the psychological boost that a fresh start with such a legendary team could provide. The relationship between Hamilton and Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur could play a crucial role in this transition. Vasseur worked with Hamilton during his formative years in GP2, and this pre-existing rapport might help smooth the transition. A strong, trusting relationship between driver and team principal can be instrumental in creating an environment where a driver can perform at their best. Coulthard's comments also provide insight into the ruthlessly competitive nature of Formula One. He describes F1 as a best-of-the-best club, where the margins between success and failure are incredibly narrow. Coulthard explains further, there is really nothing between them, nothing between any of the drivers. It's wafer thin. This reality underscores the challenge Hamilton faces in maintaining his elite status, especially as he enters the latter stages of his career. The financial aspect of Formula One is another factor Coulthard highlights. he points out that many talented drivers never make it to the top tier of motorsport due to lack of funding. This observation serves as a reminder of the complex interplay between skill, opportunity, and financial backing that shapes a driver's career trajectory in F1. From Ferrari's perspective, signing Hamilton represents a bold move aimed at returning to championship contention. The team has faced challenges in recent years, finishing a disappointing 6th in the 2024 Constructors' Championship. They view Hamilton as a great asset who can potentially elevate the entire organization, bringing his wealth of experience and championship-winning mentality to Maranello. However, the dynamic between Hamilton and his new teammate Charles Leclerc will be crucial to watch. Leclerc has established himself as one of the fastest qualifiers on the grid, which could put immediate pressure on Hamilton if his one-lap struggles continue. The inter-team battle at Ferrari could become one of the most fascinating subplots of the 2025 season. For Hamilton himself, the move to Ferrari represents his last realistic chance to secure a record-breaking 8th World Championship. It's an opportunity to silence critics like Coulthard and cement his legacy as the greatest driver in F1 history. However, the challenge of adapting to a new team environment at 40 years old cannot be underestimated. The learning curve will be steep, with new procedures, a different car philosophy, and the pressure of driving for the sport's most iconic team. On the other hand, if Hamilton struggles to find his form at Ferrari, it could accelerate the changing of the guard in F1. Younger talents like Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, and Lando Norris are already making their mark on the sport. Hamilton's performance will be a litmus test for whether experience and past success can triumph over youth and raw speed in the current era of Formula One. The commercial and marketing implications of Hamilton's move are also significant. As one of the most recognizable athletes in the world, his switch to Ferrari creates a powerful combination of personal brand and team legacy. This fusion has the potential to attract new fans to the sport and open up new revenue streams for both Hamilton and Ferrari. The merchandise sales alone are likely to be astronomical, as fans rush to buy the iconic red gear emblazoned with Hamilton's number. From a technical perspective, Hamilton's experience and feedback will be invaluable to Ferrari's engineers. His years of success with Mercedes give him unique insights into what makes a championship-winning car. How effectively Ferrari can harness this knowledge and integrate it into their car development process could be a key factor in their competitiveness. Hamilton's ability to guide car development has been a hallmark of his career, and Ferrari will be hoping he can bring this skill to bear in their quest to return to the top. The psychological aspect of Hamilton's move cannot be overlooked. After years of stability at Mercedes, he now faces the pressure of delivering for the most storied team in F1 history. The weight of expectation from the passionate Tifosi, combined with the scrutiny that comes with being a high-profile signing, will test Hamilton's mental resilience. How he handles this pressure could be just as important as his on-track performance. As the 2025 season approaches, the F1 community is divided in its expectations. Some see Hamilton's move to Ferrari as a master stroke that will rejuvenate both driver and team, leading to a fairy tale ending to an illustrious career. Others, like Coulthard, urge caution, pointing to recent performance metrics as cause for concern. This division of opinion only adds to the intrigue surrounding what promises to be a fascinating chapter in Formula One history. Observing from a distance, I can say that I think the way it is, at least for how this has been reported, it was a great introduction of Lewis to Ferrari. To be honest, as a fan of Formula One, by having been 15 years at Ferrari before I felt excited myself.
Observing from a distance, I can say that I think the way this, at least for how this has been reported, it was a great introduction of Lewis to Ferrari. To be honest, as a fan of Formula One, by having been 15 years at Ferrari before, I felt excited.
Andrea Stella's reaction to Hamilton's Ferrari debut is particularly noteworthy given his background. Stella spent 15 years at Ferrari before joining McLaren, giving him a unique perspective on both teams. His initial response to Hamilton's move was positive and reflective of his passion for the sport. Stella's excitement stems from recognizing the historic significance of Hamilton's move. He elaborated, To see something that is historic for Formula One, a 7-time world champion going to Ferrari, one of the most iconic teams. I think Ferrari and Hamilton handled this very well.
To see something that is historic for Formula One, a 7 times world champion going to Ferrari, one of the most iconic teams. I think Ferrari and Hamilton handled this very well.
The hype surrounding Hamilton's arrival at Ferrari has been building for over a year. It was on February 1st, 2024, that the Maranello-based squad first announced this blockbuster move. Since then, the F1 community has been counting down the days leading up to Hamilton's first appearance in red, which finally came last month during a test session in Fiorano. The reception for Hamilton was reminiscent of the fanfare that greeted other world champions who joined Ferrari in the past, such as Michael Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, and Sebastian Vettel. However, Stella's message wasn't merely one of admiration. He followed his praise with a clear warning to Ferrari and Hamilton, emphasizing that ultimate success in Formula One is determined on the track. Stella stated, "But ultimately, I'm sure they know very well what counts is what's happening on track. After the initial excitement, I'm sure they will very much focus on making sure that the preparation is good, and on our side, we'll try and make their life a little bit difficult."
But ultimately, I'm sure they know very well, but what counts is what's happening on track. So, after the initial excitement, I'm sure they will focus very much on making sure that the preparation is good, and on our side, we will try and make their life a little bit difficult.
It's important to contextualize Stella's comments within McLaren's recent success. The 2024 season saw McLaren achieve a significant milestone by securing their first Constructors' Championship since 1998. This victory was sealed at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where Lando Norris claimed victory ahead of Ferrari drivers Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. This performance not only secured McLaren's championship, but also relegated Ferrari to second place in the standings. McLaren's 2024 success has intensified the rivalry between the two historic teams. Throughout the season, McLaren and Ferrari were locked in a fierce battle for the Constructors' title, with McLaren ultimately emerging victorious. This competition saw McLaren not only challenge Ferrari, but also overtake Red Bull Racing in the standings, marking a significant shift in the competitive order of Formula One. The 2024 season culminated in a thrilling finale at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Lando Norris's victory ahead of Ferrari's Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz was a defining moment for McLaren. It not only secured their Constructors' Championship, but also demonstrated their ability to outperform Ferrari in crucial moments. The fact that only 14 points separated Ferrari from the top of the board at the end of the season underscores the intensity of the competition between these two teams. Stella's promise to make life difficult for Hamilton and Ferrari in the 2025 season is not an empty threat. It's backed by McLaren's recent performance and their determination to build on their success. Stella emphasized that while the initial excitement surrounding Hamilton's move is understandable, what truly matters is on-track performance and thorough preparation. The McLaren team principal's words serve as a reminder that in Formula One, reputations and past achievements count for little once the lights go out on race day. Stella's comments suggest that McLaren is not intimidated by Ferrari's high-profile driver acquisition. Instead, they see it as motivation to push even harder in their pursuit of success. Looking ahead to the 2025 Formula One season, expectations are high for continued competition between McLaren and Ferrari. Hamilton's move to Ferrari adds another layer of intrigue to this rivalry. The dynamic between Hamilton and his new teammate, Charles Leclerc, will be closely watched, as will Ferrari's ability to provide a car capable of challenging for championships. The 2025 season is shaping up to be one of the most competitive in recent memory, with Ferrari boasting a lineup of Hamilton and Leclerc, and McLaren coming off a Constructors' Championship win. The stage is set for an intense battle. Add to this mix the ever-present threat of Red Bull and a potentially resurgent Mercedes, and Formula One fans are in for a thrilling season. The competition between McLaren and Ferrari is not just about the drivers. both teams are pushing the boundaries of technology and innovation in their quest for supremacy. McLaren, for instance, is rumored to be developing a very extreme design for their MCL39 car for the 2025 season. According to reports from Italian publication Gazzetta, this design approach involves McLaren identifying areas where the 2025 and 2026 regulations overlap, potentially giving them a head start on the 2026 rule set in entirely legal ways. Ferrari, not to be outdone, is also pursuing a similar developmental strategy. The Scuderia's biggest developmental gain is reported to be in pull rod suspension, showcasing the technical arms race that exists between these two giants of the sport. The dynamic within Ferrari following Hamilton's arrival will be crucial to their success. Reports from Italy suggest that Ferrari is taking a measured approach to determining their driver hierarchy for the 2025 season. According to La Gazzetta dello Sport, Ferrari doesn't intend to decide their pecking order until both drivers have had a chance to prove themselves in the opening races of the season. This approach could present challenges for Ferrari's title aspirations, as any hesitation in establishing a clear team strategy could potentially hand an early advantage to rivals like McLaren or Red Bull. However, Ferrari believes this patient approach will set them up best for the season as a whole. The relationship between Hamilton and his new teammate, Charles Leclerc, will be crucial to Ferrari's success. Leclerc, at 27 years old and approaching the prime of his career, is reportedly unwilling to play second fiddle to Hamilton. This dynamic sets the stage for a potentially explosive intra-team rivalry that could either propel Ferrari to new heights or derail their championship aspirations. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur has previously stated his philosophy regarding team orders. He said, "There is a clear situation, it's the same everywhere. We have two very good drivers, and both of them are able to do a job. We will have the capacity to provide them with the same car, the same structure, and the same support. There will be no number one and number two, but if at one stage we have to take action, then we will take action. It doesn't matter if it's for one or the other, but if at one stage in the season we have to do something, then I will do it." However, with Hamilton's arrival bringing championship-winning experience to the team, Ferrari may be forced to reconsider this approach. The pressure will be on Hamilton to make a fast start to his Ferrari career, as reports suggest that Vasseur could implement team orders after the first few races if one driver establishes a clear advantage.
Well, the great and good of Formula One are gathered here in London for the Autosport Awards tonight, but the big story of the day was created by Lewis Hamilton, who had a minor crash testing a Ferrari, a 2023 Ferrari car at the Circuit de Catalunya.
Lewis Hamilton's testing car crashed at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, a venue well known to F1 drivers and teams. Hamilton, who was sharing driving duties with teammate Charles Leclerc, lost control of the team's 2023 car, resulting in a collision with the barriers. The incident occurred towards the end of the lap, causing damage to both the bodywork and suspension of the SF23.
Had to be recovered and taken back to the pits for repairs. Hamilton didn't do any more driving today, and Charles Leclerc, who was due to take over the same Ferrari car, was unable to complete any running in the afternoon session. Ferrari have another day of testing in Barcelona. The original intention was for their reserve and development drivers to complete that running. It remains to be seen if perhaps Hamilton and Leclerc now take that over. And Lewis Hamilton will have another opportunity to test more recent Ferrari equipment in Barcelona next week when the team undertakes a Pirelli tyre test.
Ferrari has declined to comment on the specifics of the incident, maintaining a policy of secrecy around their private test sessions. However, sources close to the team have confirmed that Hamilton emerged from the crash unharmed. A team source told AFP that Hamilton was absolutely okay and was still in the process of exploring the car's limits. The crash happened on Ferrari's second of 3 days of running at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, which is the venue for the Spanish Grand Prix. This testing session is part of Ferrari's efforts to integrate Hamilton into the team as effectively as possible before the start of the 2025 season, which kicks off with the Australian Grand Prix on March 14th to 16th. To understand the full implications of this event, it's crucial to examine the context of the testing session. Ferrari's current testing program is governed by Formula One's strict regulations, known as TPC, or testing of previous cars. These rules dictate that current race drivers can complete a maximum of 1,000 kilometers of running in previous year cars. For Hamilton, this crash comes at a critical juncture in his career. Having spent 12 successful years with Mercedes, his move to Ferrari represents one of the most significant transfers in F1 history. The transition to a new team, with different procedures, working methods, and car characteristics, is a formidable challenge even for a driver of Hamilton's caliber. Hamilton's testing program with Ferrari began on January 22nd at the team's Fiorano test track, where he completed 30 laps,